Hi, I'm Peter from Blinds for Builders, DIY, and so in this video I'll show you how to measure for roller blinds both to the base of the window and to the recess. Measuring for roller blinds to the face of the window or onto the architrave, simply hook your tape over one end of the architrave, keeping it taut and level, and measure to this point on the other side of the architrave. Check that measurement both in the middle and across the bottom. To drop, simply hook the tape on the top, measure to the bottom of the architrave. Once you have your width and your drop, note them on the worksheet provided on the website. Measuring for a roller blind fitted to the recess of a window, simply place your steel tape in the cavity and note the type measurement. For the drop in a recess, simply place the tape in, measure all the way down to the bottom. Once you have your measurements from the recess, both the width and the height, jot them on the worksheet provided on the website. In this video we'll look at installing a single blind to a recess. To install any roller blind you'll need the following:
child safety clip, child safety label, installation brackets dual, installation brackets single, chain joiners, chain barrel travel stops, installation screws, pliers, drill and screwdriver. Blind. Installing the bracket, place the blind bracket level with the face, mark the middle hole, then move the bracket across so that that first installation hole gives you some clearance from the front of the window. Repeat the process on the
Installing
other
the
side.
bracket,
Place it on your mark. Using our driver drill, screw home the screws. 1, 2, repeat the process on the other side.
and in the roller blind. Couple of things to note. On one end, the control end, where the chain is, it has a gusset over the top to stop the chain coming off. It must be fitted at, if it was a clock face, 10 o'clock and 2 o'clock. This end takes the male bracket that has the pin, the flat lug hanging. The other end is just a pin. It fits in the round hole of the bracket. It also is adjustable if you have a small variation in your sizes and need to cheat a little bit. This is a great thing just for winding out to get to that extra couple of mils, as you see there. It's spring loaded. To remove it from the bracket you twist the opposite direction and it retracts the little pin. Setting the gusset up at 10 o'clock and 2 o'clock as we previously stated, slot that on the pin and simply click the spring loaded round end into the slot bracket, ensuring that it's fully home. Set that the blind is fully up and wound up and not loose on the roll. Wind it down to where you wish it to stop. Chain is too long, trim it to size by taking your finger at this point, pulling down, take your pliers that we said, cut it at that point, lift it up to where you wish it to be rejoined, in this case there, cut, and using the joiner provided, simply click that home. We also provide little barrel stops for finite adjustment of the travel of the blind, which you could put on here just so that it doesn't go. We also provide another barrel stop to use on the back chain so that the blind doesn't come up too far. Simply mark it with your finger at the height required. Take your barrel stop and attach. Installing the child's safety clip. Set it in the appropriate position, ensuring that there's not too much flexibility there. Put your screw in and attach to the wall. And finally, the child safety label, which must be fitted by law. Simply put the hand tag through the plastic receiver and you're done. To face fit a roller blind, take the right hand bracket, in this case it's the control end with the lug. I use the foot of the bracket to measure, to save trying to hold a tape measure while you're up on the ladder. It's much easier to do it this way. Sit it parallel with the top of the architrave, draw a line, place the bracket in level with that line, mark your two holes, pre-drill and screw it home. So now we've installed our brackets, simply hang the blind. Remembering, keep our gusset at 10 o'clock and 2 o'clock, otherwise the chain catches. That end on, and then click this end home. In this instance, the blind is a little bit loose in the brackets, so you have that adjusting part that I spoke about earlier. Simply click that out, stops that looseness so it's nice and secure. A great feature. So there we go, we fitted the blind to the architrave, or face fitted. All you now need to do is trim your chain, fit the child's safety clip and warning label as previously described. Okay, dual roller blinds, which are very popular at the moment, where you can have a block out blind fitted and a screen blind fitted in conjunction with it. We provide these new slim line brackets that allow us to get a much closer, nicer fit. A couple of things to consider fitting recess with a dual blind. You need to look for obstructions in the window to see whether there's actually enough room for you to do that. Things like winders in older homes can be problematic. Support beams that stick out from the glass, particularly on sliding doors, take up the available space to fit the blinds. So if there's not enough space there, it just can't be done. So where fitting issues arise that won't allow you to fit duals into the recess, they can be fitted out onto the architrave as described. However, we'll show you how to fit a blind, dual blinds, to the recess. Even though this window's got a mock winder in place, the newer ones have a folding handle which allows you to retrieve some of that space back and get your blinds back into the cavity so that they'll work and not come down and hit on here. Fitting the brackets, the same. Use the brackets to measure, place it in situation, making sure that there's no obstructions, seeing where it has to fit within the framework to operate correctly. Mark your holes, drill and install. Okay, so we've installed our two brackets. Now we're installing the screen blind, which is going to be the lower one, which is overrolled. That is, it comes off the front of the blind. Easy. Okay, now the top blind in a dual situation has something a little bit different. It has on the chain mechanism, a gusset that guides the chain away from the bottom one so that it doesn't rub and foul. It must be fitted in a position so that it's just slightly forward to guide the chain away from the bottom one, like this. Okay, we've installed both blinds, the screen blind, which comes down and misses the obstruction nicely, and the block out over the top. There we go. All you need to do now is trim the chains, child safety clips and labels as previously described. Okay, so there we go. We've covered how to measure for roller blinds both in the recess and onto the face, and how to go about installing those blinds, which is really quite easy. Remember, I'm here to help. If you've got a problematic area or just unsure of something, shoot us through an email, maybe with a photo, and I'll respond to it straight away. So remember, blinds for builders, DIY and save.